And we are live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition, excuse me, of the Fans of Power podcast. I'm Tyler Baker.
Oh, God. I'm going to have a boo, probably. Go ahead.
And Joe and Nathan are here. So, how are we doing here, people?
I was waiting for him to say Joe and Nathan. They're like, boo. I thought he was going to have that.
Yeah, but he would have to switch. Like, he would have to
I could have
immediately
done that. I could have done that, but I'm like, you know what? It might be too much, and Joe might hold on to his head and like, they're breaking my routine, for God's sake.
Oh, Jesus. Well, before we get into everything real quick, let me just acknowledge the people in the chat room. There is Zentron, Fedmon, Zen Brown, Tags Media Animation, JD Gibson. So I think that's everybody. I think I called everybody. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry, but thank you for joining us.
They'll start flooding in. Yeah, well, but it's also WrestleMania. They're probably all watching WrestleMania.
Yeah, we have a couple. Well, for those who decided to watch this, regardless of the festivities, we have a minor wrestling discussion to throw out to you to keep it kind of, make you feel like, you're still getting some wrestling in with your He-Man as well. So,
yeah, I think we tried to do that. We've done that, I think, the past couple of years. We've done something when it's a WrestleMania. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people might be watching WrestleMania or watching both of us or maybe not even watch. But either way, it's something fun we do. And Grimbot, thank you for joining us.
Or maybe I wanted to say off of something Joe said and said, hell with these guys. I'm watching WrestleMania just to spite them.
Yeah, which I was going to bring that up anyways. Every year, you guys know I do my April Fools. If you don't, you will know now. Every April 1st is April Fools. I do that silly Masters of the Universe thing where I do something, and most people know it's a joke because what do? I always put somehow 401 or what I'd make a reference where usually some people see it, or you would think by the millions of comments that pop up of people saying, "Oh, that's April Fools, you got me," they'd catch it. Well, this year, I made Wonder Bread He-Man for a customer, and I took the image of that and photoshopped it into a Walmart peg of action figures and next to some Transformer figures from last year, I believe. But I priced it at $401. I don't even know. I don't think Walmart has anything ending in 01. I could be wrong. But either way,
so not the toy aisle, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. But I put 401 for the prices. I said, what a cool price. Look at this on clearance. Go check your stores. Most people knew. Some didn't. And that's a thing kind of Tyler's at least acknowledging is I got at least 5 people that messaged me that were pissed. I mean, they're pissed. Damn it, Joe, I thought that was real. It's like, you should have told everybody. And then I messaged back to them. I was like, but it was an April 1st gag. Most people caught it. I said, I put the amount. I said, I'm sorry if I got you mad, but 3 of those people actually unfriended me because they were so upset. I was like, Jesus, I didn't know people would freak out that much.
Huh.
It's a gag. So to let you know, every April 1st I do that. And when I make references to anything about the movie or people tagging me and stuff, that's usually never a personal attack to one person. That's just me saying, I don't like hearing about the movie news. I said, if you guys can tag me and stuff, anything but that, because I know that stuff has been going on for almost 17 years. So that was just a preference. I said, if you'd like to tag me, just don't tag me in that. But that got people mad too. I was like, I can't win. I was like, I guess I'm just not.
How many people decided like their pussy hadn't been powdered enough and had decided to unfriend you after something like that?
2 was from the movie, but 3 was from April Fools, which really shocked me on the April Fools. I was like, really? I pissed that many people off?
I'm just curious, like, how do you know? Because we all know you have a legion of followers on your social media. So how do you know that 2 people unfriended you and 3 unfriended you after they just they believe that something that's never actually been proved existed?
It's just
somehow shows up at a Walmart.
I picture Joe. I picture Joe looks at his friend list every day and looks at the number.
Market.
You have That's what. Yeah.
Right now, Joe's got the red arrow pointing down.
I just, it's like both of you guys and probably a lot of people here in the chat room. There's just ways where you just know, if you know what I mean. You know by reading people the things they say when they don't say nothing no more, and then when suddenly you see they're not on your friends list, you're like, okay, I'm certain it had to be this or this, but yeah. But definitely was the April Fools because, like I said, there was 5 people that messaged me. 3 were really pissed, and coincidentally,
now when you say really pissed, like elaborate on that, because
they went. One guy.
Go ahead.
The one guy in particular, and you know why? He's like, man, I must have went to 10. I was like, 10? I was like, I don't know any city that has 10 Walmarts in their area. It was like, well, between a couple states, I was really going around and I couldn't find them. And you wasted my time. And that's when I said, man, I said, really? I was like, I'm sorry you did go through that. I said, but if you checked on my wall, everybody said, I said, I even acknowledged, yes, it was April Fool's gag after a few people. I said, I'm sorry you just didn't keep reading. But I guess because it was a waste of his time, he got that anger. Is like, so I'm just alerting people, giving you a heads up. Every April 1st, don't believe anything you see when I post.
Do that.
You know, actually, you know what would actually be kind of brilliant is like somehow Mattel and Walmart reached out to us. It's like, you know what, Joe, that was great, and we're actually going to go through and do that because these podcasts have this mystical power. I am the reason that Beefcake is in the WWE Hall of Fame. So anything is possible. And anything can happen in the WWF.
Anything can happen in the I guess. But that just it shocked me. I was like, I never seen that many people freaking out over an April Fool's gag, which I've done for the past.
And I hope you didn't apologize because
no.
I want to thank everyone who is a devoted, loyal listener to this podcast because I'm sure in some point in the past, maybe even tonight, and maybe even in the future, we will say something that you don't agree with. God knows I've listened to lots of podcasts to this day that, I was like, I don't like their opinion on that, and I don't like this or I don't like that. And for the most part, I just continue on. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. And I've never actually went after them after these podcasts that I listened to and let them know, you pissed me off because of your opinion on the shitty Ghostbusters remake. You thought it was good. I think you're an asshole because you thought it was good. Or I went after because they were poking fun at a team I like or something like that. I'm like, I just kind of feel like it's irrelevant. And the best way of saying I'm not interested was just don't listen anymore. We're not encouraging that. But, I know people in the chat room had probably said stuff that we don't agree with and vice versa. But, none of us would ever go after anybody if you said Clamp Champ was lame or you thought the Meteor sucked or you felt Nathan saying the web store is like the beefcake of Master Universe.
You're still hanging on to that one, huh?
Well, it's the first one that comes to mind because that's really the only thing you said that's criminal on this podcast. You've kept a clean slate, so I have to go and find something.
Well, we might see how this goes with a certain segment of the show coming up. But proceed.
But look, I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who listens to this podcast. Maybe I'm sure there is somebody out there that the behavior of these people who got really ugly with Joe because look, people, the Wonder Bread He-Man has yet to be actually proven if there was any in existence, period. From Mattel, Wonder Bread, and anybody else, it's been talked to out the ass. So if somebody decides to believe something on Joe's Facebook and runs to 10 Walmarts in their area and unfriends Joe because this guy obviously could believe Nathan could have pulled a Men on Card web store out of his ass. Jim hit 10. $5. First person to claim it, I'll send it free shipping. Would have believed it. I have no sympathy for that kind of mentality. I mean, come on, people. I have bought an April Fool's joke because I remember I woke up maybe 4 or 5 years ago and it was announced Channing Tatum was playing He-Man. I went to work about as depressed as I possibly could have been.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Nathan was like, dude, it's April Fool's, man. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And I had wasted so much mental time thinking that the pubescent big-eared prick who can't act in anything.
What a dumbass.
Yes. I was a complete dumbass for buying it. But did I go after JoeBlow.com or anybody else? No, because I was a moron for believing it. So it goes for anybody else who decided to just, and smack stuff off their shelves and kick puppies and kittens in the streets because they bought a joke that Joe posted on his Facebook.
That was a first. It was a first. Like
ridiculous.
I said,
people, if they want to get fussed at or bitchy, because I don't like it too. And thankfully, nobody posted me in movie news. They kept posting Joe. So I guess.
Damn, Fedmon. Thank you. Sorry.
Well, did he give you a compliment or something like that?
No, it said also, Nathan, you're showing too much forehead tonight. Or is that the start of a receding hairline? No, it's just my hair's getting longer, and that's what happens.
Yeah,
you gotta push it away from your head because then it starts to just dig in your eyeballs. But yeah, I mean, let's face facts. I can show you pictures of me when I was a kid. I've always had a big forehead, so thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
This stream is dodo.
Yeah, well, quickly, let me say hello to Jason Johnston, Adam Gabbard, and MOTU fan number 1, and your favorite blockhead has joined us. So I just want to get everybody else in the chat.
Here,
but yeah,
I guess we'll just.
Now he's got a complex. Now he's.
There we go.
There we go. Better. All right.
We'll just cover my eyes too.
No, but yeah, fine. I just wanted to bring that up because, like I said, it was a shocker. It was
ridiculous. A first. I just think it's ridiculous. And look, I just want to let people who listen to this podcast, we're thankful for the group that we have. We know it's not a large like those frauds on all over YouTube who just top 10 bullshit, whatever. We're thankful that we have the group that we have here. I'm thankful for that too.
Yes.
Oh
yeah, no, definitely.
So we don't want to run people off over mistakes like this, but we just want to say, look, come on, people. It would be a nationally announced, a worldwide statement if for some reason a Wonder Bread human was showing up in stores. But we would know the prototype would be. It's just one of those things, and for them to just unfriend Joe like that, I mean, we are talking about this petty nonsense of unfriend friend kind of stuff. It's ridiculous in itself. Nathan loves to trash it all the time, but it's just don't get so bent out of shape, over that kind of stuff. Get bent out of shape over my opinions on if you like Channing Tatum and you don't like my opinion on it, then you can get worked up about it.
Well, hey man, at least the chat's not like you going from Rocky Dennis to Cousin It. man, you got
what?
Well, we got to get Nathan into the conversation. So poor guy,
I am getting beat down tonight. Anyway, I want to go ahead.
Calling you Rocky Dennis.
Grim 2. Anyway, I want to share this. I got this in the mail. I got this in the mail this week. I did get Fisto, and actually, there's nothing wrong with him. So thanks, Super 7. He's not like missing anything. Nothing's broken. The
no weird paint apps around. No weird paint apps around.
Well, I mean, he could just be missing the entire paint app on the back of him for all I know. I need to take him
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like you said, not everyone will be like that. So that is good. You got a decent Fisto, so that is cool. And quickly, Eric Heyman and Sportimus, thank you for joining us. But we do have, like I said, there's a few topics that obviously we'll be talking about. One of them is something that Tyler brought up. It was just on, just on the fly. And of course it will pertain kind of to wrestling, but how you explain it like you were saying, Tyler, because I'll tell you what, you got me excited about it. And then I'll explain one thing that I hope you and Nathan maybe can fit to something when we get to it. But go ahead and tell everybody that topic.
No, I just, God knows how many times we've associated He-Man and wrestling because it just seems to, go together like peanut butter and jelly. But it's just fun to kind of have discussions about it. I just thought, it's always fun to think about, like, if a He-Man character was to come to the ring. Part of that experience is the music. That the minute it hits, having walked through the curtain, you get super excited. So I just thought, like, it'd be kind of fun to like 5 characters. Could be anybody, any faction, male, female, whatever. What would their what would their music theme be? And then it made me think, like, there could be like an entire federation. And I figured like Joe and Nathan could be like, JR, and Nathan could be like Jesse, Nobody, Ventura, and then Nathan could wear like the do-rag.
Man, damn, it's like Nobody, big forehead. You look like Rocky Dennis.
Nathan just ends the stream right now.
I didn't give any shit about Rocky Dennis or any of that stuff. I just thought Jesse, Nobody. I said Nobody would be funny. That is the only reason I said that. But Nathan wearing it. What? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I kind of feel like more of a Bobby Heenan than a Ventura. But,
well,
okay.
I just said the Ventura because of the Nobody joke. Obviously, yeah, you'd be more of a Bobby Heenan. But I could picture because Joe likes to be all PG and say "son of a gun" stuff like that, so you could buzz it. It's son of a bitch, But
right.
I could just figure Nathan could be the ball busting Bobby Heenan, and Joe's being all energetic. And this episode of Master Man is brought to you by Skittles or Snickers, and talk about how good they are, and then it just kind of goes off into the
fruity, delicious fruity Skittles. Yeah.
Well, I had 4 I had 4 that are in my mind, in my head. 5th I would like, but I can't. That's where I'm going to need you and Nathan, maybe even people in the chat room, to maybe help me out on the 5th. But the first one, and I could see it in this mask, it represents it all, is Modulok. I was like, what creepy ass music or what cool theme could it be? And for some reason, Finn Balor right now, his theme, when it comes and that smoke hits, and I could just see Modulok coming out to that, I was like, that is the perfect ass intro, I think, for Modulok. I was at one time thinking Boogeyman, but I was like, no, I don't want to do the Boogeyman. Yeah. I'm going to Finn Balor because I think it fits him perfectly.
Well, I think you've already missed the point of this already, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? I thought you said if we were going to take
now, maybe you did, but did you actually think I meant like actual wrestling themes and apply it? I meant just music in general.
Oh no!
What you guys told me, I have 5 characters and I used wrestling themes.
That's fine. I told that's fine. It's miscommunication then. So.
Oh, that's okay. And plus, it makes us kind of think with the wheels,
music. So.
Yeah, well, I was picturing, like I said, that I went with
Joe. It's all right because he's gonna have Simply Red and Caribbean Queen be like songs of whoever he decided, so it's fine. Probably a Phil Collins track, maybe some Prince. I won't say the thing I used to say in high school.
Yeah, because Nathan has been a hypocrite when it comes to Prince, so.
Actually, I'm a hypocrite when it comes to Caribbean Queen because I've kind of come around to that song. So there you go. Anyway, Joe,
I was
continue.
ahead of my time when I was really getting into this stuff. And Ned's like, I can listen to 3 minutes, 36 seconds of this shit. You know, when he used to burn music for me all the time.
I'm glad in a way, though, we're having 2 different ways of thinking, because I'd like to hear what Tyler thinks when he says his. But I'll still, I guess, go along with the lines of what I had in my mind.
Don't lose your momentum. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the first would be Modulok coming out with Finn Balor. I sat there and Hulk Hogan, for whatever reason, Hulk Hogan was with He-Man for some reason. I was just picturing, He-Man comes out, he has Hulk Hogan's music.
He-Man comes out when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
It's a real Eternian. That's all the thing that was popping in my head, but I was hearing his music. This is where I was having my debate on the 3rd. I love the Brood's music with. No. Well, the 4th, yes, but there's a debate on a 3rd too, which I'm wanting to see what you guys think on this. On the 3rd, I was thinking, I love the Brood. I love Gangrel's music. I mean, that is funky as hell, especially rising out of the flames from the ground. And I was picturing, would that badass entrance be for like the Horde all coming out, rising out of the flames, walking, I was picturing the Horde, but then for some reason, the Snake Man, I could picture it being like a pit and them coming out. And I was like, which would be cooler? Because both seem so badass. What do you think, Tyler? Because I'm conflicted on that. I would
choose the Horde over that one.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said it, because the 4th, then, for whatever reason, I don't know if you remember Drew McIntyre's Broken Dreams thing.
I love that. That.
And I just pictured King Hiss coming out to it, just this confident, cocky, overpowered, nothing would fear him. Him coming to that entrance, I was picturing that with Drew McIntyre with King Hiss, Broken Dreams. So, but the last, I want you guys to help me. Anybody help me. The Ultimate Warrior is my favorite wrestler of all time. I could not put him with any Masters of the Universe figure, though. I kept looking, I was like, nobody fits this personality. Or is there somebody that I just overlooked? And that's why I was like, maybe Tyler or Nathan can help me, or the chat room. Can anybody fit the Ultimate Warrior's intensity music?
I'd almost say Beastman.
Beastman?
Beastman.
Maybe kind of running savage. Okay, I can see what you mean. Savage, wild. I couldn't do anything. I guess if there could anybody, maybe Beastman. Did you have a thought, Nathan? Because I like Beastman, especially if you put into the real wild animalistic part of him, and you could picture
I can see Beastman coming in and holding his hands up, shaking the ropes, and
yeah. Okay, I like it. Oh, wait, what's funny? Sportimus said Beastman, and also Tags Animation Media said Beastman. Zen Brown said maybe Cyclone. So, okay, I like that. All right. And by the way, Sportimus says he would like Skeletor had to have Undertaker's theme. But, I'll pass it to Nathan. And Nathan, you can go to Tyler. But those are my 5 then. I guess you guys help me. So there's my 5.
All right. I'm sure people, if I haven't gotten enough shit already in this show, Jesus. For He-Man, I went with Mr. Perfect's theme.
That's awesome.
Okay. I like that.
Because I'm just thinking, like, he's like honestly in a way just sort of eloquent in his movements and showing his abilities. So I went with Mr. Perfect. Rio Blast. I was going to be a smart ass and go with Smoking Guns, but honestly, Elias's theme I thought would kind of match with him in a weird way.
You know what's weird? Elias's theme doesn't pop into my head too much. Just probably
because they always just shuffle him out there and have him play guitar. Like his actual theme's pretty badass. For Clamp Champ, I went with D-Lo, Real Deal Now, because I
remember that.
That's one of my favorite themes. Moss Man. I was gonna go with Billy Gunn's Ass Man theme because then you could change it to say
I'm a Moss Man.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
And
Tyler hated that theme, I think. Well, go ahead.
And to finish it off, Too Bad, I went with Crush's theme. Because I just, for some reason, I don't know why, I just like I hear that riff. It's like
Heel Crush.
I remember that.
And I could just see them like walking down WrestleFest style, kind of like fighting with each other while that theme is playing. So there you go. There's my five.
Okay. And then what did you have in mind, Tyler?
Well, I was really like, polling like actual. I was going for like a lot of like 80s rock and trying to avoid like something modern. And then I remember like Nathan had mentioned, I'm pretty sure it was Nathan, this group called Manowar.
Yeah.
And I listened to Warriors of the World. I thought that would be the great theme for this program. Like if it was like not a Raw, but like a flagship show and like Mastermind or something like that would be like the opening theme with the Heroic Warriors, the Evil Warriors, the Snake Men, the Horde, the Rebellion. They're all kind of walking in like this promo package, get ready to just kind of clash, kind of like a Royal Rumble, because all these guys would be fighting. And but I thought for the tag team of Cyclone and Rotar would be Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought for Trap Jaw would be War Machine by Kiss.
Okay.
That's a badass
thing. Taz's old theme.
Yeah.
How about that?
And then for Faker, I thought Feed My Frankenstein by Alice Cooper.
Okay.
I just thought that was always a nice touch. Jump by Van Halen for Lizard Man.
Oh yeah, you got Lizard Man in there. I know you want Lizard Man. That's cool.
Leave a message. I always associate
Big Daddy.
With, yeah.
Too Bad was going to give Super Beast by White Zombie.
Okay.
And then it's like I thought about the Horde giving them Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. Skeletor, I had Perfect Circles counting bodies to the rhythm of the war drums. It's just kind of random ones. And then there's a funny one I thought I could give Tila, I'm a Bitch by Meredith Brooks.
I was wondering what you would do for her if you gave her a theme.
That was something I was like, yeah, that's what she would get. So that's what made me feel like there's so much you could do with that, putting together. Obviously, you guys got really creative in coming up with themes for these guys based on their personas and how you see them coming to the ring, and it's fun to think about. It'd be a lot of fun to be had if you were booking matches with all these,
Well, Tyler, just do it, man. I know that you have a WWF ring. Just take some of those classics and film yourself and have the music and do the entrances and have them fight. There you go. Precisely. That was probably my head.
I'd have to be like the commissioner. I'd be booking all the matches, and I'd set up. We have the Twin Hemisphere title. We got the Universal Champion title, and we got the Gray Skull Champion. You have three major belts because you got all these factions competing for the titles and stuff in one tag team division. I don't know what I would call that. Maybe that would be like the double hemisphere. Maybe that'd be the tag team one because you got like the dark hemisphere and the light hemisphere. Mm-hmm. Something like that. There's so much fun to be had with that kind of thing.
How in depth are the new 2K games? Because I told you I haven't played them in years, but I know that you can always create a wrestler.
You could honestly, legitimately, probably create anybody and anything from Master.
Can you make your own belt? Can you make your own belt too? Could you?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Did you see Kevin Sharp made you and I as a tag team on that game?
No.
Dude,
Me
oh
and you,
yeah. And well, because Tyler and I went to a local Comic-Con yesterday, and Kevin Sharp was there in attendance. So I finally got to meet him in person, and Tyler and I hung out with him for I would say a decent amount of time, and he showed us a video that he made because he created Tyler and Joe in the video game. And Joe is actually kind of badass because he took your mask and it almost looked like a mix between when Demolition came to the ring wearing masks, but it was also when Muda would come to the ring with a mask on and take it off and have the face. It actually looked really, really cool. And I saw that and I'm like, if we could find a way to just make that mask and give it to Joe, that would be fantastic.
Damn, that's cool. No, I didn't see that. At least I don't recall him.
Well, no, he sent me because he made me like a couple of months ago, and it looked really good. And then he said he was going to make you and Nathan, and he had I guess there was an issue with his system or something like that, and I think he lost some stuff. But he still had a video of you and me coming to the ring as the tag team Fans of Power, and there's music and taunts, and I have like a long jacket on. I got my hair punked up. I got glasses, 5 o'clock shadow and all. And
he honestly looked like Johnny Cage. Really,
which I was like, man, there's some more commissions I could have Kevin do.
Which is lame enough because Johnny Cage sucks. But anyway.
The hell he does, man.
I'll have to ask him to send that video to
me. It looked quite good. I think you'd really enjoy it. He did a really good job on you, Joe. So I think you definitely would. I think you'd be quite impressed by it. So if he listens to this, he needs to just post it and just tag Joe in it so Joe can see it. Because
after the show's over, I'm definitely going to message. And quickly to Sportimus and tags. What I'm doing is I have a piece of tissue that I put right here on my forehead, and it keeps once in a while sliding, and I have to push it up because it makes me see out of this eye better because I still have to adjust that mask.
Why don't you just make the eye holes bigger, Joe?
Yeah, they could make sense.
I mean, no one's going to judge your eyes, Joe. I mean,
right, those little black spots they see.
Joe, you know what? I was watching the podcast, and I have to say that you look like Shawn Michaels right now.
Yeah, as RVD did it, with that face he made.
Right. Well, since we are still kind of on the topic of wrestling, and this has been sort of asked in the chat, where was it? Filmation should have done a wrestling episode. I'm going to pose this question to you guys. Had that been the case, we're talking like mid-'80s, what wrestlers would you have had shown up in an episode of He-Man?
Oh God! I mean, the no-brainer for me is just the Ultimate Warrior because he looks like a comic book character. Anyways, I would have just loved to see him. That's a no-brainer for me. But go ahead, T-Rex.
They're asking like what '80s wrestlers would show up in a He-Man
episode?
No.
It was just said Filmation should have had a wrestling episode. So I posed the question like. We've had crossovers and stuff during that time before with like Batman showing up in Scooby-Doo. If there were WWF wrestlers that were going to pop up in He-Man, who would you want to have shown up in an episode?
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Good old Jake.
Hanging out at Snake Mountain with Damien. Putting the DDT on any of the Evil Warriors, and Skeletor's like, I can respect this guy. Jake the Snake Roberts, dude.
It would have been something to have crossovers back in the day, something like that.
But I mean, I could even see it do like some sort of like wrestling episode where the Evil Warriors have to compete with the Heroic Warriors in a wrestling match of some kind. Kind of like the Games episode where He-Man and Skeletor have to duke it out 1-on-1. Why not? Throw them in a match of survival, and the winner of this contest goes this idol that He-Man's trying to protect, Skeletor's trying to steal. The team that wins this particular item or something like that. And then you got I could see that probably being like a season 2 episode, preferably at the beginning of season 2 when you got like Webstore, Whiplash, and Cobra Khan being introduced, and then throwing a Triclops and Trapjaw to round out the tag team, and then you got Buzz-Off, Mechaneck, Fisto, He-Man, and then probably throwing Manny Faces. So yeah, you
some
got
weird. Yeah. I was gonna say
some
weird
outside
spell
of the ring trying to cheat and stuff like that. But
we'd have to have like Orko do a bad spell that would have somehow like sent people to Earth, and they would have got brought to eternity, or vice versa. They'd always have to be involved with Orko, some weird spell, some mishap of something with Earth. If there would have been a goofy little crossover, could have been, like you said, could have been fun.
Yeah, it's like you're taking the Rock and Wrestling and dropping them on Eternia, essentially.
Yeah. And what about that? That would have been weird.
And I guess one more thing before I let you guys go, and I'll jump off and wash my big forehead and everything. Tyler versus Joe versus Nathan in the ring, 3-way match. Who would win? No holds barred. You can go as gross as you want. Here's what would happen. Emily would be my manager. She would be on the outside. She would have made cookies. Joe would have been like, oh, man, cookies. And he'd be distracted by that. Tyler's head would be too big, and he would fall over. And then I would climb on the top rope, give the elbow, 1, 2, 3. I'm the winner.
While I'm eating cookies outside the ring with Emily, she brings it to me like how Scooby-Doo with the Scooby snacks and just pulls me out of the ring so I don't even have 1 second to wrestle.
Exactly. Done.
That's a terrible booking job, Nathan. I mean, that's just...
it's fine. It's fine. I come out on top, so it's cool.
Cornette would never approve of something like that. No, that's terrible. It's terrible.
Double cheese.
Yeah.
Double mayo.
Horsey sauce.
And someone asked earlier what was on my shirt. It is Sleepaway Camp.
It's an extension of his forehead there, people.
Yeah, there you go. It's what was it? What was that MTV show? The Head?
Oh yeah.
That's me. There we go.
I thought you were gonna say that was me because of my big head.
No. See, you have the big head because of your ego. I have the
that would
big
be my
head because my
forehead's
forehead's big.
trip. That would be
that would be your finisher?
Yeah, the ego trip. Yeah.
The ego trip.
Well, there we have it.
Oh, great.
All right.
Well, Joe's like, that's so clever. Wish I could come up with something like that. I'll show him someday. Me and my scarf. By the way, nothing, he turned your scarf into part of your outfit. Kevin Sharp did.
Oh, did he?
Like
he put a
lot of plaid on there too. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to really message him. So that does sound cool. And Nathan, I know you'll probably join us back at the end of the episode because we're going to do some savage moments in Masters history right now. Then we'll go into our, of course, newspaper comic discussion.
Well, I mean, I have to show up because I have to stop the broadcast. So, yes, I will be back towards the end for all the movie quotes and all that fun stuff. So
there you go. See you in a bit.
All right. See ya.
All right. Oh, Jesus. All right. That was cool. Now, Tyler, we're going to talk about some savage moments in Masters history. Now, when I think savage, it's not always just going to have to be something absolutely brutal or blood and guts. It could be just, certain moments. But there's a few different ones I had in mind. Some came from mini comics, some from books, and maybe something for a cartoon. But I could think of like one of them, with Triclops in his mini comic. Now you got to think, this is a guy that backhanded Tila, took out Battle Cat, took out Ram Man with a little slide moving off the side and still taking him out, and basically at one point almost kind of defeating He-Man. But I think the savage part from that mini comic that always stood out to me was him knocking out Battle Cat. And you think, well, why would something as simple as just him knocking out Battle Cat seem savage? Only first, it's a damn just gigantic tiger, first of all, but he knocked him out while Battle Cat had the helmet on. It shows that's how much of a badass they portrayed Triclops in that mini comic, which is, like I said, that's my favorite portrayal of him, just how he was interpreted there. But to have the power to knock out that gigantic tiger by punching him through his helmet into his jaw, I always thought that was super savage. I don't know about you, but that is one of my savage.
No, it is. And that's one of those things that, I argue like that's the kind of stuff you want to see in a new canon. You want to see villains be portrayed with a level of like, okay, there should be a threat with these characters. Like you don't want them to just look imposing. You want them to be portrayed as very threatening characters. And for someone like Triclops to come in and to dismantle, the top tier characters one by one like that, and to give He-Man a good run with a sword fight. I mean. Mm-hmm. That's how you get over a memorable villain like that. To me, and honestly, maybe in some Yugoslavian pamphlet or something like that, maybe somebody else has knocked out Battle Cat with going fisticuffs with him. But as far as I know, in the American literature, He-Man, it's never happened. Just Triclops.
which makes it, I think, that much more memorable. I mean, this whole mini comic itself, but especially that moment. But that's definitely one. And just let you know, Grimbot and then Sportimus, but Grimbot first said He-Man building a house with his bare fists, and then Sportimus said it. That was, I'll give it to you guys. That was savage, making his house out of his fists. That was cool.
Yeah.
But all right, well, what's one you got? Because we can hit them back and forth. Because I got some others, but what you got?
I mean, first thing I always go to is Fisto having the shit kicked out of him by the Evil Warriors and Clash of Arms.
You took it. Well, just let you know that was another one.
I know. I know some people are like, God, again, but you don't understand. It was just a great way of setting up the new roster of villains and setting up this brand new hero that clearly is gonna the next in line equivalent to He-Man, and to see one heroic warrior, being, knocked out and captured, thrown into the arena. Clawful beats the hell out of him, goes after Jitsu, takes out Jitsu, and then Whiplash is ready to pretty much break him in half. Like that consistency of like not having the villains be a bunch of rollover stooges. They're constantly up in the ante, and Fisto is winning, but barely each time. Not without, having Fisto's body slash, with Clawful's claw and everything. It was just, and to have Skeletor and Evil Lynn are just watching for the amusement, watching this guy hopefully die in front of them, just for fun. So I go back to that so much. This is strictly out of the impact as I read it as an adult. This has nothing to do with the nostalgia of that being my favorite as a child. It's strictly just how memorable the villains were. It just being what I always want to see He-Man villains portrayed like, and that is running the gauntlet in the Clash of Arms.
And to let you know, just so you wouldn't think I was making it up, because I have it right by me, that was also one of my choices, was Clash of Arms and some of its thoughts, because I put, I'm having things turn everywhere. But I did have that as one, not only from, like you said, obviously, Fisto is running that gauntlet, and he's taking a beating, but also handing it and taking it to Clawful and beats Clawful. Then here came Jitsu, and he kind of, dismisses Jitsu like nothing. But then here came Whiplash. And that's the one he didn't win. So first, what's savage is just the thought of, he's going through hell of everything, that first to get beaten, to get knocked into the arena, then to go through all these evil warriors right there, just to see, God, how much stamina, how much of a fighter is this guy? And he still put on a hell of a fight, but the other part savage to go along with that is how Whiplash, first just blast him with this tail, then to swing the tail on and Fisto catches, and you think, Fisto got him, only for Whiplash to just savagely, bam, smash him on the ground and throw him into a wall. I was like, you felt the intensity. It's like we always say with Larry Houston's mini comics. He could tell that story with just showing the pictures, but you felt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By every panel to panel. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, that's what makes Larry's so memorable, is that, when we looked at those books, we saw the, he didn't shy away from the action that we, obviously as kids we're playing these characters, they're punching, they're kicking, they're slashing each other. And Larry didn't shy away from showing us that kind of, action and combat in these mini comics, which is why we constantly go back and keep talking about him so much, because he did it so many times. And Clash of Arms is the greatest piece of American literature. And that is the biggest reason why, is seeing these beloved characters that I have behind me and that Joe has behind him. It's important to see the characters doing what we envision them to be doing. When you see those wonderful commercials from the 80s, the kids are playing with them. They're you can call them camp or whatever, but they're fun visuals of what you reenact, what you think you should be doing. And obviously the comic book is a great illustration of the kind of combat and scenarios you expected to see these heroes in. So
because you do it yourself, like you said, you would do it yourself sometimes with obviously how the kids are playing the commercials. That's what we did as well. But there were some of the mini comics that really caught your eye, and you wanted to try to reenact. And Clash of Arms was one I would try to reenact.
Me too.
By that. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's great using the imagination like that. But I can see that I won't have to discuss that now that you did, because we did it together. And
well, I think definitely hammering in the Whiplash segment. That in particular, we could have just said the Whiplash segment of Clash of Arms, because I would dare say next to Portrayal of Stratus is probably his Whiplash's like strongest portrayal in any of the media. Like he's had some good appearances, yes, but I mean like it was such an unforgettable appearance, and where he comes off like as a kind of a brute that's just kind of a nothing but aggression, not much of a thinker. You can like giving him that speech of like Skeletor angry, that kind of, when he talks, like he's speaking in kind of a monosyllabic dialect almost.
I'd hope more people, if they haven't, who are listening to us, now or later, that they just go back and read that mini comic again. We praise it so much because it is that damn good. But yeah, so that's another one. Well, like I said, me and Tyler were thinking the same way there. But there was another moment when this one definitely was savage, because I always tell everybody when they question, they say, there was never any blood and guts or any real death.
I knew it.
And you knew it, yeah, because you knew this is one of my favorites as well. I know you're not probably as passionate, but this one used to freak me out as a kid, and that was in the Sunbird Legacy when He-Man goes and he's around the Sands of Time. Him and Battlecat are there, and the Sand Snake comes out, which kind of knocks Battlecat off to the side, and it's having its good toll onto He-Man, grabbing him at one point, and then He-Man done something we never seen. He took his sword and he sliced that snake's head off. Not some magical, fake thing. This was a real snake. He cut his head clean off. Blood was pouring out. And I was like, wow, because it was something that we never seen in the mini comics. You could get hints of, he might have killed the Glorm, even though we didn't see the blood, or when he's ripping open the jaws of that beast in the original mini comic before he got, when he was saving the goddess. When he's doing that, you see a little drip of blood, but nothing was as definitively, that was He-Man killing something. So if you've never read the Sunbird Legacy, which is one of probably the longest books back then, at least in the United States that you get from all the Golden books, go read that one because you will see He-Man kills. That for me is obviously a savage moment, especially when you've never seen it before.
Yeah, no, it was because I had just seen the book, but I actually hadn't wasn't motivated enough to actually sit on it because it's a long book. And reading it off He-Man.org at times, because sometimes the pages are in incorrect order, gets a little frustrating at times. But when we did that review, 3 years ago, something like that?
It was a while. Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah,
back when our first third member of this podcast was on here, I think. But that was a really cool moment to see He-Man, because I think obviously when this line was being done, people were big fans of Conan. I mean, I think it shows in various forms of media, hell, even the cartoon. You can feel like a lot of people were inspired by the sword and sorcerer stories and the paintings of Frank Frazetta and various other artists of the time, and the books and the comics of the 70s. And He-Man taking on Giant Snake. Conan takes on giant snakes all the time. And that's something I think it's that should be something that we see. I mean, outside of just the Snakeman faction alone, but Snake Mountain, Skeletor, and snakes, it just kind of seems like something that you would expect He-Man to be battling, not just once, but probably several times. Mm-hmm. As He-Man, giant snakes would just kind of come par for the course, and to see him decapitate a large snake. I mean, why haven't we seen more of that? Do I have to commission Kevin or Axel to do that again? Because I feel like it's bread and butter, goes together. He-Man fighting giant snakes, and I could see him impaling it through the mouth, or like I did with the Beast Monster in my little mini comic. Like
with
He-Man,
the bam, then boom, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what He-Man would do to take out these creatures, not just tie them up in a knot kind of thing. It can't always be the harmless approach to it. I think a lot of us would appreciate, even children, of He-Man taken out. We'd see it in the Sinbad films, the classic Ray Harryhausen films. The heroes, Jason the Argonauts. May not be gory, but they are killing and slaying the giant beasts.
And it didn't traumatize us. After seeing that, I was traumatized.
Not.
Yeah, it's like you said. that death and blood, it can work to, like you said, to a degree. Obviously, I wouldn't, like, let's say if they started making new comics or a new cartoon. No, I wouldn't expect Stratos, and I wouldn't expect, Merman or Beastman. I would never want them killed. But if whether it was through a cartoon or comics or something, if they at least had some battle scars, and then you'd have the expendable stuff, like you said, maybe just nonsense lackeys that all look alike, or like we said, snakes and creatures. When things like that are expendable, it can work, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want just our main heroes and villains
you like
to
to
gone.
think that these specific characters, outside of the fact that they are original characters, we want to see them in multiple battles and multiple times, that they're better than just the standard palace guard or generic evil henchman lackey, like a skeleton warrior or an army of creatures that Skeletor summons or that Beastman's in command of. Like Beastman, he may be commanding, a group of like simpleton monsters, but the monsters would be the ones that get killed. Beastman's a little bit more intelligent than that, and logically would avoid being, beheaded by He-Man or impaled by, Tila's sword or something like that. I mean, there's reason. I mean, we don't want to see these characters kill off because we don't want to see it to begin with, but there's also that thought that they should be smarter. Why you see heroic warriors come back with gashes in their bicep and a knife in their leg, but palace guards are being laid out all over the place because Clanchamp and Fisto and Man-at-Arms, they're smarter, they're stronger, they're better in combat, and would they're the veterans of war. They go through this stuff, and it's just it just makes sense from a storytelling standpoint.
It does, because you're right. The expendable ones, it's characters that you don't have any kind of emotional, attachment to. Because even within the villains, as a kid, and of course now, but even as kids, you loved your favorite villains and you want them gone. But you're right, to give just those characters that you really don't. Oh, it was a background attorney and guard. It was a multitude of maybe Skeletor's other type of minions. That, like, let's say they put Skelecons hypothetically. The Skelecons. Yeah, it's like, oh, a couple of them got killed and got their head chopped off and arm chopped off. Who cares? There's like just a bunch of them. So. Yeah, but I'm glad you at least remembered. And when I knew you were gonna know I was talking about the decapitation.
Yeah, because that was something that crossed my mind too. Because that was just, it's one of those moments where you actually see He-Man do what we expect to see him do. If a competent comic book comes along or something like that, I don't want to see Too Bad get beheaded by Supergirl like some of that bullshit that was done in that recent crock of shit comic. But I want to see He-Man take a big slash at an ice hacker, not rip his guts out and hold his head up or something like that. You don't have to go that far with it, but I want to see him do an uppercut slash into the chest of an ice hacker, or if, a giant menacing dragon that's not in cahoots with Granomir or trying to keep peace at Dark Smoke. Maybe if Shadow Wing were to come back and brings in or Morningstar and dragons are starting to attack. I'd expect Fisto to just knock the hell out of it, or He-Man to, if I have to, cut the head off. And just show him doing it. But we don't need to get in. I mean, with like a slashing motion, you can even cut out all the blood, but you clearly know He-Man is killing this dragon or something like that, or impaling him. And the dragon falls over. Keeping it simple, like in Jason the Argonauts, when Jason kills the Hydra, he just stabs him in the chest, and it kills the Hydra. Like, it pales the heart, kills the whole beast. It's not gory.
Just a good balance.
Yeah. But know it's dead.
Right.
So it can be done. It's just some people feel like we got to guts and gore. Like Vince McMahon would get all excited about it or something.
Or the extreme of none of it. But if there's that perfect balance, I think they could do it right. Because I recently brought up a poll about, what would you like to see in a new Masters of the Universe cartoon if they made one? And I kind of brought up things like, would you want to kind of see, the continuity, little continuity, one-off episodes, like death or blood. I think I put that because I know I put it in one a while back. And it seemed like the consensus from the polls that I do remember I did, most people just said yes, some battle scars, damage, no death of main characters, and other things. Yeah, which would work. I mean, it would just be great if a new cartoon never happened and if they could just hopefully get something right. But, well, what's another savage moment you could think of?
He-Man taking on the Evil Warriors in the live-action movie in the junkyard when he dismantles the robot troops and gets shot at by Sora, and the Beastman comes and grabs a hold of him. And to just see a real Beastman, a real He-Man duking it out, and then He-Man just knocks the shit out of him like, like 2 hits to the gut, and then just elbows him in the face, and he goes flying all the way back, and then boom, here comes Blade. It was just like boom, 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 boom. I still this day it's that excitement of you bought that these evil warriors in this film, that they are very threatening. They're scary. They're menacing, and they're trying to kill this poor girl. I mean, even if they don't, or maybe not kill her, but you feel like if they did, oh well, that kind of thing. So they come off as like, this is a big deal. This is a serious scenario for He-Man, and to see He-Man struggling a bit with Beastman, and then here comes Blade, takes out Blade. Here comes Sauron. Here comes Blade again. It was just, it was so exciting to see it happening. And, people who listen to this podcast, you guys know my endless devotion to that film. But that is a savage moment, especially for me, particularly, is him elbowing Beastman in the face and just knocking him all the way back. I loved seeing that. And just picture Beastman would probably, just gash into He-Man, and it's what made me think like Beastman in that movie in general, like when he attacks Kevin, just knocks the hell out of him. He's bleeding. You almost feel like Beastman's getting ready to just claws to tear his throat out. So I'd say Beastman in the live action movie. There's my savage moment, because he was savage as hell in that movie.
He was. No, definitely, which is good, because in the movie you did want to see a lot more action, since they probably weren't going to have him doing many things with the sword to actually obviously kill any living beings or creatures, but just to see something going on, some physicality. Like for me, for the movie, which was another one of mine, was when Sauron got killed by Skeletor. Now, see, that was a character that like you said, I wasn't invested in this character. It was a new character, it was different, but still to see that Skeletor would take out one of his own minions for failing. Like when they all came back as failures, and you see Beastman groveling to him. And that part where a lot of people question it, was Sauron getting ready to grab for his gun to beat Skeletor to the punch and shoot him? Or was it just as Skeletor was doing it, Sauron felt it and knew, oh shit, I'm in trouble, and reached for his gun. But it was too late, because he got zapped to where he was dead. I couldn't remember. There was a lot of people that tried to figure out that call. Was he drawn and Skeletor got him, or do you think he was drawn because he thought Skeletor was going to get me?
I almost felt like it's in the context of the, it's one of those things that kind of makes you feel like how many people have met their fate. So obviously they know what's coming, and I mean you could look at it both ways, but I'm sure, because I like to see Sauron portrayed as very strong and competent and intelligent. He wasn't going to take a chance. There's 4 of them there. He could be one of them, the one that gets killed. So if all you have is, all you can do is just try to survive, then it would seem, to me, it would be like, I'm not risking this. I'm gonna,
He felt it, like you said. Maybe that's it. He knew it was coming. They came back, as all being failures. And maybe it's something like, let's say, maybe he knew it happened in the past. Maybe there was other things that he sent his people out for to do. And when they came back, maybe somebody always got killed, as to, that's going to teach, I'll teach you all a lesson. If you guys fail again, that's what's going to happen to you. So maybe Sauron just do it. But I always like that hypothetical. But yeah, for me, that was savage, because it was an obvious death, not a bloody death. But it was savage. He disappeared. He was done. He vaporized him. He got his point across. So, yeah, that was another savage moment for me. Skeletor getting rid of Sauron.
Yeah. Another one for me is He-Man and Skeletor and Evelyn's plot. The one time we really get to see them duke it out one-on-one, and it goes on for a little bit. It's not just an implication, or like in Dragon Invasion when they're facing each other at the blood falls, but it ends pretty quickly. It's not actually kind of a fight that gets drawn out. Or even in the Curse of the Spellstone. Now they're actually fighting one-on-one in a volcanic cave. So if you haven't seen that, or you haven't listened to many episodes, I praised the hell out of that episode. That's the one episode of the series where He-Man and Skeletor actually fight, and it's not Skeletor using magic. It's they're actually going at it fist to fist. It's not we're not seeing them trade punches left and right, of course, unfortunately. But it's Skeletor without the Havoc staff attacking He-Man, throwing rocks at him. They're actually making hand-to-hand contact with each other, and it's special. The music's great, the atmosphere is great. Battle Cat's taken out because Evelyn, locks him down, so that way Skeletor and He-Man can just fight. I mean, you got the lava's erupting in the cave, and it's so beautifully well done. Like, that's how you have a final battle between He-Man and Skeletor. If you're not going to look at the live action movie, that single episode does it to perfection in that.
And that is another fact. I hope people, when we're seeing this,
are you serious?
of
Because Joe never brings up Evelyn's plot. I'm the only one that does it. Are you really bringing up something from Evelyn's plot?
No, I was going to bring up, I'm hoping that everything we're suggesting, people give a chance and maybe go back to look for just to see, because every time we have these moments when we say something savage, I'm hoping that they're into that. Because I have, like I said, I was trying to think of 5. This will be my last one that I got into. And for some people might think, well, it doesn't sound too savage. But when you think of the context of what He-Man did, and how he's willing to sacrifice himself to make sure he could save people to get rid of an item. And that was the Diamond Ray of Disappearance, is when he was crushing it. And he was starting to disappear. He could have been gone forever, but he wanted to make sure this was gone, that it would never cause any more problems and, obviously disrupt anything to where anybody could be in danger. So he's willing to sacrifice himself to crush this damn thing that he probably thought was impenetrable, couldn't be destroyed. And he's fading away, but of course, in the last second, boom, he shatters it. He comes back. But I thought it was just savage because he's risking his life. And to me, that sometimes, while it might not be seem like there's a battle or blood, it's a hell of a moment. How many people would try to even attempt to do something like that, risking their life for the entire world?
Well, and it does win because he is taken away, like he's gone, like he's left the planet. So for a time, He-Man is gone. Obviously he does come back, but I mean, that's one of those moments where you need to see He-Man in that kind of peril. You need to see the Oz can't just be easily taken out with a brief fight. It's like the fight is part of the struggle, but that's not the absolute struggle. And the Diamond Ray and crushing it, knowing it took that much. Hell, when it fell down into the chasm, and he's got to push the planet apart. Essentially,
right.
Or at least the ground to get down deep enough to get it. I think Robbie London, still to this day, does not give himself enough credit for how that episode went. And you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the Robbie London interview we did.
Oh, was that a heartbreaker, God? I remember your reaction. It was like, it was different. Yeah, you're right. We'll have to link people probably in the comments section or something. But yeah, that was a hell of a thing, just to what he said, and because it was a great episode, baby.
Really,
you didn't think so, but yeah. So, what's one more savage thing that you can think of before we get into the newspaper comic, and then get to the people in the chat room?
Cap it off with one last one. I mean, I try because I pick one. I'm trying to get it down to one where I know for a fact we have not discussed, because I feel like most of those you and I have talked about multitude, and of course we have new listeners all the time, and we have just under 200 episodes under our belt. There's no reason why some people haven't listened to all of them. I'm trying to think of something maybe mini comic wise that we have not really, or Filmation. All right, it's not really. I just think it's such a serious moment, and I just said I wasn't gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it anyway. Is He-Man's acceptance of his fate in Dragon's Gift when he's going to go chop down Skytree and actually going to kill this tree that's alive. And it's one of those things too, and I give James G. Talk credit, because in that episode, this is when him and Zedek Angel had their website. We're talking like the late 90s and the early 2000s. And they made a point to say that in the episode when He-Man is asked by Tulamar, the Treepercon, Skytree's this way, but what is it that you guys are up to? And He-Man says, I don't think you want to know. Like, that moment of He-Man is being portrayed as like kind of a bad guy in that moment. And following through with, they think it's just a tree, but it's a living creature, and they're actually going to go through and kill this thing. And And he changes his mind, and then when they get brought back to Granomir, for him to stand up and he says, "We don't have it," and that killing Sky Tree, in fact, any tree is we're not going to take a life to save a life, and just accepting his fate that pick another gift or send us to the realm of demons. Now, like I get goosebumps when I watch that, and Granomir just looks at him and says that it would be my right to do so, and He-Man says it would. Like he's accepting. You can send us to hell. I'm accepting. We made this bargain with you, and we can't follow through with it. So we wallowed you, and we're going to accept our fate right here, right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a ball buster of a moment. If people are going to be so dismissive of the old stuff, and I'm actually looking at the dialogue in the scene and the scenario itself that's being painted in these episodes, one-off episodes, like you clearly don't understand how special this property really is. I mean, it's all about the stakes. Joe and I have just sat here and talked about all kinds of scenarios and situations He-Man has found himself in these evil, in the bad guys, how this should be portrayed. There should be just constant evil that's always threatened. There should never be this dismissive of like, no big deal. He-Man can take that out. You should always feel like He-Man is in peril, and how's he going to do it this time? It's like when you watch a classic James Bond movie or something like that. How is James going to get out of this scenario? Or how is Spider-Man going to get out of this one? How is the Fantastic Four going to stop Doctor Doom this time? You may know it's going to happen, but how is it going to happen? How's he going to get out of this? There should always be the anxiousness of how these heroes are going to get out of these situations.
Sure.
And you need savage moments to prove that.
Sure. I mean, it's the anticipation. It's stuff that lets you know that your heroes aren't just definitively going to win every single time with ease. Yeah, you do want to see them put in those predicaments. It's like how we were talking earlier, almost just with the blood and death. Yes, we don't want blood and death, but we want to know at time, my guy, He-Man just went through a hell of a war, and he's got the scars to show. Might not last long, but even with people like Man-at-Arms, Clamp Champ, or anybody to have those scars for a bit, for a while, to where if there was ever cartoons or any form of media, if there's continuity, yes, you can acknowledge something that happened from the past. This led to this, but don't feel like I have to watch 30 episodes to understand everything that's going on. So, that's what you do. Yeah, the anticipation and just the thought of they went through all of this to save the day, whatever the objective is. But I just never, I never tuned into He-Man expecting He-Man just to quickly let's end the show within 5 minutes. Yeah, you got to have him go through some kind of perils and struggles. So, but those are just some.
That's why your casual, generic jerk-off phase will be so dismissive of the show, and treat it like it was, it's no big deal. Like the villains were all lame. It's just that lazy approach that we have beaten people over the head with, that we get fed up with, and it's a shame that people who really look at this property and the stories that we have gone over and encourage people to go and seek out. And remind you, we don't have anything going on right now, but if you're not as familiar, or you're a casual fan who wants to become a hardcore fan, you've got a large library of all kinds of great stories to remind you that, there's a lot of great stories that, most people don't know. And if we can't get anything right now, go back to the past, because I'm sure there's something in the past you have not discovered yet.
Oh, most definitely. From watching any of the cartoons through YouTube or getting the books from Dark Horse, where you can get all the mini comics along with other comics that were put into that, and the newspaper comic strip book, which we're going to discuss now, because that was just one hell of a long story, went on a long time, but there's different chapters to each one while slightly acknowledging the past, which we'll get right into right now, and that's Attack on Snake Mountain. This one for me, like I said, we can get to little points and parts in just a bit, but I'll just give you my first impression. I felt like it started off super slow for at least me.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, it's dragging. When will it get to the point? As it picked up, definitely got better. Like I said, I've loved everyone we discussed so far, but I really am indifferent about this one. I kind of like how it ended, at least once it started getting to the action towards the end.
The middle to the end is great. The beginning should have been cut drastically,
Yeah, they way too much kind of talking, and just the focal point on this amulet that, in this plot with Skeletor, and you're still wondering, well, what is this about? And who's this guy that's been undercover as an Eternian guard or whatever for Skeletor all this time, with just a no name? What was his name? Robert? I can't even remember his name.
It's kind of like, unless he shows up in another story, it's kind of just like a random plot device thrown in, which I kind of felt like, are we going to see it's really one of the evil warriors, like in disguise, like a spell's been cast on him, and it's really Triclops?
Yeah, I was waiting.
That, but no, it's just a guy.
Yeah, so it would be interesting if this guy pops up later, but as for right now, he just felt so out of place. But I was excited because, oh my God, we got a story where Clamp Champ's going to have a prominent role, which was good. Started off a little different feel when you first met him. It just felt like somebody, well, he's in the gym and he's training, kind of working out, and his personality felt different to what I think of Clamp Champ as being this guy that with the super senses, so confident. But of course, you see he's confident in this. He wants to take on Skeletor. He wants to destroy Snake Mountain after this whole plot that was put into place kind of convinces him to do so. But you find out, of course, that if you destroy Snake Mountain, it'll destroy Grayskull. There's got to be a balance that was referred to by, as Sorcerer said, He-Man's mother with the yin yang from where she came from. That if you get rid of one, the other is gone. But Clamp Champ, yes, he got to finally have some action, but I love Clamp Champ. That's why I just felt something was even slightly not the personality I expected. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I don't know what you thought of him, but
no, I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. They portray him as someone who really wants to prove himself, as opposed to this is King Randall's royal bodyguard. This is, the guy master of capture. This is the guy with the heightened senses. This is someone who could be essentially the greatest tracker on Eternia, one of the best hand-to-hand combat fighters. And it's, he just is kind of someone who's got a chip on his shoulder. And it's not really kind of explained why, other than, there's a line here. I've been fighting all my life and nobody calls me anything but champ, which I thought that's what I like to call him sometimes. Like my avatar on He-Man.org is Horde Supreme, and my avatar is Clamp Champ from the Power Tour with the tag Champ of '87, the year that he came out. So I'm like, hey, I'm not the only one that called him Champ. I just thought that would be if he was in the series, I figured people would call him Champ for short. But I was just kind of it's kind of like a. I was so thankful to see Clamp Champ get involved in such a pivotal part. But it just kind of feels like this whole thing with this politician who wants to bring down Snake Mountain, but he's somehow manipulated by this random guard. And they decide, well, we're going to use Clamp Champ to go in. But Clamp Champ is actually being expected by Skeletor. And
the plot, it was different because, like you said, go ahead. It just had me everywhere. You're right. I think we're just kind of all flummoxed because it was different.
Look, the story itself, I think it has great intentions, but it's got some stuff in here that I felt like this needs to be made into canon, like the Heart of Eternia.
I like the Heart of Eternia. I
thought that was a brilliant idea, which in this story under Grayskull is essentially I like really playing up this idea that it's important to have good and evil, and that Eternia, you've got the two hemispheres, which I guess is just kind of, and maybe that's what the writer Chris Webber is kind of playing off of, and that there's this issue of balance. Obviously we can't have Skeletor take control of Grayskull. You would think that you could do without Snake Mountain and evil on Eternia, and people could live on and go on prosperous lives. However, we don't want to see evil go away. So the idea of saying that there has to be a balance, kind of like with Zodak. Zodak is essentially used as keeping balance in the universe. And obviously, you don't want He-Man coming along and taking his power and ruling absolutely. That has to be kept in check. And we can't have Skeletor, who pure evil, running the planet. So you have to have him. So yeah, I get that. And that's kind of what the latter part of the story plays off of. And that underneath Grayskull, to get He-Man to Snake Mountain a little bit quicker, is He-Man has to go through the Heart of Eternia, which is this passageway from Grayskull to Snake Mountain, Which I guess in the story, if you look at it, Snake Mountain's been there for a long time. For this path to lead from the like underneath Grayskull directly to Snake Mountain, the ultimate source of evil, is linked to the ultimate source of good. But nobody else knows about it. It's been forgotten for.
Is that what you seen? The Heart of a Teen? Excuse me. Yeah, I think I know exactly what you mean because like at the beginning, of He-Man first. I always liked anytime they showed any kind of catacombs or references to places. Yeah, like under Grayskull or to this spot, and you see him filling these things to try to keep the structure good for like thousands of years, however they refer to it. Because there was a specific thing. I know they said something, but I don't know if in Eternia words, if that means a long time, basically. But
it's kind of what it's led to believe, but it's been forgot. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's just kind of made up for the story, but it's an interesting idea because He-Man passes through it and becomes enriched with even more power, and he's given it, which is the image you see on the cover of the on the back of the book.
Yeah, and you can show them that real quick if you were to show them the back of the cover.
If you haven't read it yet, or see this image here of He-Man wearing a crown and a cape, that's due to him walking through the Heart of Eternia, and it enriches his power even more so. He-Man feels it, and it kind of makes him a bit arrogant and determined to actually kill Skeletor.
Yeah, because it's almost like he wasn't He-Man no more, as he kind of said, and he says, I am the power, not I have the power, but I am. Because some people seen that image and thought, hey, it's King He-Man. No, that's not King He-Man. This is He-Man. It's like you said, I think between Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull, this point that they met probably was the Heart of Eternia, but it like you said, it enhanced He-Man's power, but he was obsessed. He wanted to kill Skeletor. Teela and Clampchamp had to convince him to not do this. It would the years and your legacy and what you meant and what you stood for would be meaningless. It would just go away if you were to do an act of this horrible atrocity of killing. Yes, he's your enemy. Yes, you want to stop him, but killing him, that's just the point of it's a point of no return. If he's doing, you can't turn back. But yeah, when he got that power and said, I am the power, and got this cape now and this crown, it was flowing through him, and Skeletor got a taste of it too at one point.
And that part that made no sense. That because He-Man's there, and then Skeletor somehow attracts the same thing. Like, okay, how? Because he's standing in front. Like that part made no sense. It was kind of like it's an interesting thing. Like I don't feel like Skeletor needed to have it. Like it should have been Skeletor using every ounce of his magic and sorcery to take on He-Man.
And it was temporary, right? Wasn't that even said by He-Man? It just like it was temporary. He said it didn't last for him, but it was really lasting for He-Man.
It's really lasting for He-Man, but it kind of felt like it's part of the story that it's not a long part, but it should have been cut. It should have strictly been He-Man just loses control of his morality because he's been given so much power and feels like I really can just go out and just take out Skeletor. No problem at all. And that's when you have Clampchamp come in and realize his anxiousness to prove that, hey, I can be one of the boys and single-handedly take out Skeletor because someone prompted me to, like, you know what, I could be the one to do it. And they realize, you know what, He-Man's doing something I came here to do, and I realize it's wrong because I'm watching my idol. And I like the idea that he idolizes He-Man when he's new to the Heroic Wars. And
yeah, he has a poster of him and He-Man on the wall where it's
it's just kind of a it's a motivation. It's a piece of motivation, which kind of hard.
Something he could aspire to be. Maybe he want to aspire to be like He-Man.
And it works for that. And I get it, and I get the message, but it's a good idea, and I like the Heart of Eternia. I think it's a cool thing. It's kind of like the Search episode with the Starseed.
With the Starseed, that's exactly a mind reader. Because I was going to say, did you get a Starseed vibe from it? Because we never got to see He-Man really act out on what could have happened with that power. Because when he was holding it, that was kind of freaky. Like, could He-Man? Could he get some like bad, angry issues here? Is something terrible going to happen? But yes, you got to see it play out in this. It's not the Starseed, obviously, but I thought the same thing when he was full of that power. It's like I'm getting that Starseed vibe from it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a fun idea. It's fun to see He-Man struggle, with his duties like that, and actually taking advantage of the great power. Like with Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility, and that's to see him have to face that challenge every so often. I think is important because it could be easy for a character like him to take it for granted. and take advantage of it and misuse it very easily. And I think it's important that we see him struggle like that, and knowing that he can end it all right now. Because obviously, if he did, it ends, lots of troubles and issues on the planet. But the point is, like with most comic book characters, they say they don't kill for their code of honor. They don't kill because that makes me just as bad as them. And I mean, that's kind of the cliche thing, that you should be able to stop them without taking their life. And that's what we do in our society anyway. Like, we try to bring justice to the wrongs in this world by, putting them in court, trying them, and sending them to prison, and not just shooting them dead, when the police pick them up, unless it's absolutely necessary, kind of thing. So, I mean, that makes sense. I really do like the idea of Heart of Eternity. I think it's an interesting thing. Not something I would want to see used much, because that's something that could be misused or overused tremendously. And another thing of the secret passageway underneath Eternity is kind of like Subterranean in the 2000X episode Underworld. Mm-hmm. But there's some interesting things in it. But yeah, like Joe said, there's that beginning. You just kind of, okay, where's in it really? I don't know if it ties into the next story. I have no idea.
Well, because Grimm did mention
Gwildor's in it. And I think they must be setting the seeds up with him.
Yeah, because he's doing a lot of discussing about something he wants to do, and then Orko could help him with. But yeah, he kept laying that on thick. Grimbot did mention that character, that one-off character, he will show up, he said, later. So we will see that random guy that was, So yeah,
I can appreciate some continuity there.
Yeah, like I said, that will be interesting. Just see what else they could do with him, because it's a good story, but you guys might maybe struggle through it a lot. I can only imagine, because I remember back in the day when you'd get these, those newspaper strips every day. I wonder what that must have felt like, because they probably went on for a good amount of weeks before it got a little juicy. And that's not me knocking the people who write this, because I'm sure that had to be a hell of a thing to do to try to extend this story out to keep making it last. So it's not me at all poking fun at their work. It's just when sometimes you're wanting a little more action or the get to the point part, it seemed like it dragged out. But at the end, at least it was worth it towards the middle, and definitely the end had some really unique, different things we haven't seen before, which made you get excited about, okay, now what's going to happen in the next story arc.
Yeah, and of course there's nods to the previous story with Blade, with when we meet up with Skeletor, because he's got Beastman and Evelyn in his dungeon for punishment for the events of the previous story. But it's and I like that. I mean, it's a fun expansion and continuation of a lot of the, it's unfortunate because this contains a lot of the characters that didn't get a whole lot of use in '87. So it's fun to see it. Of course, guys, I'm gonna be super stoked to see Clan Champ used anytime. Yeah. I wouldn't even give this a C grade. I mean, I'd give this probably like a B- in terms of story, because it's got some good ideas in it. It really does. But it's
even the collar. Even what you said about the collar, for an example, to put something onto Beastman to when Beastman is having a thought about Skeletor bad of what he'd like to do, and then it would zap, not like a dog collar, but something that has an effect of, you better not even think evil thoughts about me, because I thought it was a fun little play, especially when we remember a lot of the books, comics, and things where the evil, the henchman had the thought about Skeletor, and now he's like, yeah, you have a thought. This is what's going to happen. So that was a cleverly unique little item too.
Yeah, and I like the idea too of Clan Champ confronting Skeletor. Like it's fun to see individual heroic warriors confronting the ultimate evil by themselves. It's not just He-Man's teaming up with Fisto or teaming up with Clan Champ or whoever to confront Skeletor. It's kind of interesting to see these guys face to face. Like, I actually would have liked to have seen more of that and actually see a battle ensue with Clan Champ and Skeletor 1-on-1. No interference. Just those two going at it, man.
I wonder if it'll pick up more. I mean, I'm sure it will, because like I said, the previous ones we read, they usually had a good amount of action, but I just wonder how much this will keep building up, because I am going through this book as we discuss it, I do not look at this book until I know, okay, we're going to do a episode pertaining to the next chapter. Then I read it fresh. So it gets me excited knowing I don't know what's coming next. I know sometimes there might be people that might mention things. Like I said, not saying anything against Grimm. I'm glad he at least mentioned that guy's coming. It's not a spoiler killer for me.
No.
So yeah, I do. I like wondering what's going to happen next. So we'll probably hit the next part of that in another 3 weeks, I'm sure. So, but again, if you guys have not bought that Dark Horse newspaper comic strip, just buy it. It is a fantastic book, and there is a lot to it. And I think a lot of places have it on sale, probably like on the Amazon websites. Maybe if you have a Thackeray's in your area, I'm sure that this is still being sold there, and maybe at a good price.
Yeah. I highly recommend any of these things, because it just validates that, you know what, there's so many great things that me and Joe are even uncovering for the first time. I'm like Joe, I haven't gone ahead and read any of this stuff. I'm kind of saving it and reading it when Joe wants to do one. So if we're learning stuff, everybody else could be learning a lot of stuff too, man. So there's no shortage of stuff. If you feel like, you need to have something to keep your interest in looking up toys on eBay or looking up stuff on YouTube and looking at archival footage with the cartoons or old interviews with the creators and staff, or watching the live action movie, or watching She-Ra and revisiting that, there's still so much stuff to keep your interest piqued in this stuff. You don't have to wait around for Super 7 to announce 4 figures. And then you become interested in like, oh, well, I bought my figures. They're not coming out for another 6 months. Well, I'll go back to licking the cat's butt. Something like that.
There's plenty.
There's plenty. There's never a shortage of this stuff. I mean, I don't expect people to be like me and Joe, where we never get tired of revisiting the old stuff all the time. I mean, we don't. But there's still tons of new stuff, and this is just proof. You can always get your fix. You just got to know. You have to want to look. You have to want to dig. Put on your Indiana Jones fedora, get your bullet, and go on some archaeological dig, trying to find some new He-Man stuff.
Because like you said, it might be old, but it's still new to us, especially if we've never read it. Like Danielle, she just posted I think she said it was that Brazilian Zodak comic, and I was like, oh, I didn't know they made one. But she says I can translate Portuguese. I believe that's what she said. So she'll be able to translate it, and eventually we'll be able to see all of it. And I was like, well, look, I guess we did get a Zodak comic, not here, somewhere else, but that'd be a fun one to own in person. But so that's a newspaper comic strip book. Now, chat room, you can go ahead and ask us anything if you want any questions pertaining to cartoons, mini comics, movies, or anything else outside of He-Man, like, maybe about games, other movies, something, anything you want, pop in the chat room and I'll pass it to you, Tyler, if you have any recommendations for anything.
Guess maybe an episode I could recommend. All right, I'll go back and I'll recommend For Want of a Horse from Princess of Power. Like I've mentioned this episode before in the past, and to tie it into Savage Moments, one of Hordak's most savage speeches I've ever heard him give to this day is in that episode. I think it's a real asshole speech he gives to Swiftwind. You're like, God, man, he's so great because he's such a real prick in that episode, and I love it. It was very malicious to me as a kid to watch that and to see it bring Swiftwind to tears, because for his fear of like, this is probably actually going to happen, even though it doesn't, of course, but it's still like to give Hordak this dialogue to Swiftwind, just the enjoyment of breaking a horse that your wings will wither from lack of use. You'll never see sunrise or sunsets ever again. You'll wither and just it's just it's an ugly
dark.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's ugly and dark, and I love it because that's what you want from Hordak. So you want to see a savage moment, watch For Want of a Horse, which is available on YouTube. So
bam, see there, they got another savage moment within that. So good recommendation, great recommendation actually. Now there's a quote I see, and then I'm gonna get to movies. Zentron has a quote saying, "Shit, the way I played today, I wouldn't be surprised if they red tagged me already."
I will say from Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 2.
I don't know that one, Zentron. I'm going to have to see it in a bit, so I am clueless. But, okay, Sportimus says, do you think Masters of the Universe classic figures of the 87 movie likes of Tila and Man-at-Arms would look good? Oh, hell yeah. I'd love to see it. God, you picture them? Could you picture even hell Lubick? Some people want to give him some shit, but I love Lubick. It'd be great to have
Who
Tank Boy.
the hell are they to give Lubick? No, they just won't have the likeness of the actors most likely. So don't be expecting to get Chelsea Fields and John Cypher's likeness, and probably not even James Tolkien, but we get figures with the same outfits, a face that looks very similar, but it probably won't be the spitting image of the actors. But yes, I mean, all that from the Robot Troops, Evelyn, Beastman, the Attorney and Troops. I think there's a lot that we could get just from the movie alone. So yeah, I mean, everybody would look tremendous on this.
Even seeing the excitement, and the demand for those 4 figures that they showed, and who would have thought? Remember, there was a time everybody thought, "Oh, nobody wants movie stuff. Oh, everybody hates the movie. Nobody liked the figures." Well, I think they might have really brought a lot of people aboard on that, and plus, I think a lot of people, not saying they have to change their tune, but I think a lot of people that maybe didn't give the movie another chance went back and said, you know what, it wasn't as bad as they thought. Because sometimes you do stick with childhood memories. If you might have watched something one time and hated it, you might just say, forget it, I never want to watch it again. But I like seeing the great positivity that is kind of circling around this movie lately. I usually don't see people really, well, as we love to say a lot, pissing on it like they used to. When I'd make a post about that movie or a poster from the movie, man, at one time it just got a lot of negative stuff, and it's changed. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've seen more positivity than anything now from that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there has been a shift. I'm not saying that it's completely, filtered out of people saying, oh, no Orko, no transformation, no Battle Kit. It was stupid. They're still lingering around. They're still infecting, people's thoughts because some guy decides to say this. So therefore, if you watch this video, oh, yes, I feel the same way as this asshole does.
Yeah.
It's just good to know that. I would like to hope that at some point people listen to this podcast and hear the praise that we've given that film over all these episodes and really understand why we're saying this stuff. We're not saying this stuff because we're defending nostalgia. I say this stuff because as I've gotten older and watched it in a godly amount of times, I'm seeing more here, more there, more there. Oh, they did this right. Did you see this? Did you see that? So many things in that film that most people, they don't take the time to look at or even think about because they're letting this opinion and this consensus, look, there's some movies that the consensus is like, yes, I think that's kind of hard to argue. Batman and Robin, yes, it's a train wreck. I think it's universally felt that way. I heard that like the creators of Cobra Kai, one mentioned, I just saw this the other day. I was like, what? They mentioned that because this goofy ass podcast host was talking about, what do you guys think about He-Man? Could you guys do He-Man? And they said that, I kind of lost interest after I saw the movie. And I'm like, shit. And
That's a shame.
It should be more like 2000X, so we should see an exercise skeleton. Like, look, man, quit trying to turn all the evil characters all like complicated, really good characters. Like, it doesn't work all the time. It works in Karate Kid because at least at the end of Karate Kid, before the crane kit, you see the images of, or the essence of humanity in Johnny when he's questioning his sensei, Kreese, in that film. You can't do that with characters like Skeletor, Mom-Ra, Monstar, Dr. Scarab, Tex-Hex. They are evil. You can't change that or stop it. And nor do I want to see levels of complications in these characters.
I don't want to sympathize for them. That's the thing.
No!
They do that a lot with too many things. Again, yes, I know origins at times for certain characters. Yes, it works, but some, just let them be evil to be evil. Like Skeletor to me was just always evil. I never wanted to know a backstory of, did he get turned from this to that when he was a good guy at one point? No, I didn't want to know that for Mum-Ra. And that's the honest thing. It sounds as crazy, but like Jason, when I always give my praise for Friday the 13th, I unfortunately felt for him. I mean, that's not unfortunate, but I always pitied him because I was like, oh my God, he wasn't being watched. He drowned and he's seen his mother kill. So believe me, at such a young age, I always felt like Jason's not really a bad guy. Kill everybody. And isn't that bizarre though? Because you get this little bit of a backstory. And when Freddy Krueger, I wanted him always to be evil. Then when they kind of said, oh, but he was somebody who got burned and he lost his kids and, he had a wife and they wanted you to feel for him. I was like, I don't want to feel for these evil characters. You could do it with some who maybe are now introduced from the start, but a lot of those characters that we know from the past, I don't want to feel for them. I like a movie. If they, God forbid, if they ever make a He-Man movie and they introduce the character Skeletor, just let him be somebody from another dimension or just an evil demon. Just don't make him Keldor to Skeletor. I don't want that. You remember when the sorceress was describing Skeletor as being a demon from another dimension,
Yeah.
just like even in the mini comics, it's like that worked for me. I always knew this Skeletor is scary. Mumra is scary, and that's all I ever see them as.
Yeah, I mean I think it's this idea, and that's why I was so pissed off about them doing a Joker film. I do not give a shit about the Joker's past. All I want to see him is that this guy is the epitome of evil in the DC.
They're doing
universe.
a Joker movie?
Hell yes, they are. The trailer just dropped the other day.
I guess it ain't gonna hurt because I ain't gonna watch the trailer. But do they say who's playing the Joker,
or no, is it just? This was announced like long time. Joaquin Phoenix is playing the Joker, and footage has been dropped every so often, like test footage they've shown and everything. And now an actual trailer has been dropped, and I was against it from the beginning. Like, I actually didn't think it was actually going to happen because it seemed like such a ridiculous idea, like a fart in the wind. And no, it's actually happening. And the trailer pants it. I mean, I talked to Nathan about it. Nathan's kind of curious about it, and I think a lot of people, like Danielle, I think she's kind of sold and curious on it. But it's one of those things, like the trailer paints it like this is going to be a tragic, sad story. I'm like, I don't want to see sadness with the Joker. This is a guy that would, get you laughing nervously, shove a knife in your throat, and while you're struggling with blood bursting out of your throat, he's laughing even harder about it because he thinks it's funny. But because he's got a tragic past and was, kicked aside by society and that kind of thing, that's kind of how the trailer paints. And I'm like,
oh, is that what they're doing? Oh, that doesn't even sound exciting.
I mean, that takes, I know, and I understood Nathan's point of view of why he's, kind of interested in it. Me, I'm like, no, I don't care what you offer. That's not a story. Unless you were going to clearly show the Joker was a bad person to begin with. He's not Harvey Dent. He's not Dr. Connors from Spider-Man. I feel like there's a couple of Mr. Freeze. There are a couple of villains.
I was not to cut you off, but you mentioned Nathan. I know you're probably listening if you want to pop on, but you mentioned Nathan does like the trailer, or he likes the trailer.
I'm not saying like Nathan was like super like jazzed about it. Like he is cautious about it. He likes I think it kind of hit a nerve with him, because
I've been summoned.
Yeah, we were just talking about
you say my name 3 times and Big Forehead shows up. Yeah, I when it comes to it, and Tyler said that we talked about it. This was a movie that never needed to be made. Let's just get that out there to begin with. There was no reason for this, period. To me, it's almost like Rob Zombie's Halloween in terms of one of the best parts about the Joker is you were never really sure about his past. They've tried to do a few things before to kind of give you hints of things, but for them to do this, I understand like 100% that in the context of what they're doing, what you see in the trailer, you're just like, But for me to see the direction that they're going with, here's a guy who has essentially been, I guess, society has made him that way. And I told Tyler, there's just a weird part of that like I'm drawn to. We talked about it before. Tyler thinks it's like most of the comic book films, it has to lead to something else, that there's always like a sequel planned or whatever. And to me, if this was just a standalone thing, XYZ, we're done, cool. But we are in a space with Hollywood where if you put something out like this, you have to leave it open-ended because it leads to sequels. Also, Joe, totally agree with you on the sympathy for Voorhees, by the way. I always
really? You
yeah, kill the teens. They got it coming. But come October, like the trailer was good. I enjoyed the trailer. That's one thing. Now, when the movie comes out, that can be an entirely different thing. Come October, I could watch it and be like, yeah, all right, yeah, that wasn't good. But for what they did, and especially, and I know this probably isn't gonna. I'm not. I'm kind of out of the bubble now with the Marvel films. Just because they're one and the same and it's building, building, building. And props to them for spending this much time and culminating this story that will have an ending. But the further it's gone, the bigger it's blown up, the more like I've seen people selling their tickets for Endgame for thousands of dollars. And to me, that makes no sense.
No.
Yeah.
Idiots.
So to see that, I'm like, all right, it's something different. While it's not necessary and while it may like alienate certain aspects, I look at that trailer and I'm just like, all right, here's what it is. It resonated with me in some way. I'm curious about it. It looks okay. Joaquin Phoenix to me has always been a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Yeah, so I put my faith in that. If it's not good, it's not good. Time will tell. But whoever cut that trailer deserves a raise. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, well, you have to stick around.
Just watch trailers.
Now I'm gonna avoid it, but I'll have to wait until it comes out. Then I'll see it. But stick around, Nathan, in case we gotta ask you something else. And let's get back quickly to the chat room. Zentron said the quote was from Major League. I didn't recognize the quote.
Yeah,
well,
I just watched the movie not too long ago.
Yeah, the red tags when they're trying to figure out who's going to be on the team, and they open the locker, and there's the red tag hanging in the locker. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you always get. Don't worry, I lose every damn week, and that's why I can't wait for Tyler's. I'm sure we're gonna lose on that. But thank you for that. Thank you for that, Zentron. Let's see. Sportimus said, "Would you like to see a 1-in-1 scale replica of the Power Sword and Havoc staff, and would you buy them?" I mean, it's always cool seeing things like that. I just know I wouldn't, because beyond the room, I know those be expensive. But I think even if I could afford it, there's nowhere I could hang that son of a gun. Either of them. They'd look cool, but yeah, I could. What about you, Tyler? I couldn't. No, yeah, I can't.
I mean, I would love to have like a life-size Power Sword, and that.
To ask you, that's a good one. I'm gonna, since you said yes, but if you had the choice, if you could have one or the other, Filmation accurate or the '87 movie Power Sword, which one would you rather have in life-size scale?
Give me the movie.
Movie? Okay, yeah.
Give me the movie.
I had to do it because I know if you were saying you're wanting a sword, I was like, I wonder which one.
I mean, traditionally it would be the Filmation, but I mean, '87 movie, man, it's undeniably. I mean, it's above and beyond. I mean, but to be able to like hold like a Filmation Power Sword like in front of my chest, like I probably would still have to say the '87 movie, though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There, I had to ask that once you said yes. Like, let's see what else. Let me see. I just want to see and make sure. I think we might have got every question.
That's it. There was questions. No. Like, hey, what do you guys like on your cheeseburger or something like that?
Cheeseburger. Let's see. I'm not picky, so you give me lettuce, tomato, ketchup, mustard, a little bit of onion. If you put too much onion, it's like too much. But I'm also weird. I enjoy the combination. There is a burger restaurant a little bit of ways, but they have specialty burgers where I would get the Greg Brady, which is barbecue chips and mac and cheese on a burger. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Oh, Joe, don't even talk.
Oh yeah, don't even, Mister. I eat food.
Yeah, you're right. I guess
that reminds me. I had a conversation with my mom about Hills yesterday.
Okay.
We were talking about getting food, and I was just saying, like, we were talking about on the podcast, and I said, and Joe, get the nachos. And he goes, the nachos? I said, I know.
Because she was with the chili.
She was just like, oh. I said, well,
yeah, but Joe, what links would you go to like, what was it that you did? I can't remember anymore. You would do something to get more like
Okay,
Or chili.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Well, here, I'm giving you guys 2 tips on food. Everybody in this chat room can do it, and it's not illegal. It's a way of getting stuff good.
We'll go to
I'm just saying.
jail.
I wasn't even done with my story of what I was trying to say, and Joe steals it to say, "Well, here, guys, I'm Mickey Rooney. I can tell you how you can save money here."
I love the chat,
Or
but no,
Andy
when you
Rooney, not Mickey Rooney. Damn it.
well, when you were talking about Hills and that, yeah, the nachos, I'd get the chili, and we put a lot on that because they normally put them on the hot dogs, but you could get them on the nachos, and man, it was sweet, good chili. But what you do is if you go to 7-Eleven or a gas station, there's this plastic container. Listen,
7-Eleven food is not good. The
well,
people
or gas station.
it's
And gas station food, it's the same thing. They have this one dispenser where they have a plastic container that inside that is a bag of tortilla chips, the round ones. And you are supposed to pop open the container, open the bag, put the chips on, and it says, and you can get as much chili and cheese that you want free to put on. And if you squirted on all that first, you're not going to get a lot.
You ever put your mouth underneath the nozzle, Joe? Like, just close in the map. Just...
I'd love to.
juice.
Well, check this out. I'd love to. But if you were to take that home, it'd be soggy. So here's Joe's tip. You keep the bag of chips sealed. Open up that container it comes in and squirt as much chili all the way to the top as you want in cheese. Put that container on the top, the lid, go home, open it up, and you could take those chips and dip it in, and there's going to be so much left over. You just have a bunch of chili and cheese that you could just eat with a spoon. So sorry if it sounds disgusting, but it's a good way to save money. I mean, not to save money, but to get more bang for your buck.
It's a good way to gross out your date and assure that she will never call you again.
Oh, wait, Tyler, what's the movie that they're going to be watching? What was the movie that Joe went to go see? It's like that weird, obscure film.
Extra.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. No,
between Extra and going to 7-Eleven and get more chili in your bag, then you go out by the apple tree. What was it, Joe? And
go by the tree. Yeah, and then before you do that, if you want to get a sweetened deal, it's something I just did today. Hot fudge. Well, check it out. Hot fudge sundae at McDonald's. When you go to McDonald's and you get a hot fudge sundae, and you got to follow me here. If you go in there and you love the hot, just check it out, Nathan. You know how you like your hot fudge and you say I like extra fudge.
No, Joe, I think you're the only one who does that.
Well, look, I'm leading to something. Nathan might have to get his mic.
The next question from
He's leading to a heart
plugs or strap-ons.
Well, no, serious. When you go there and you say I like extra fudge, they'll do a squirt and then you look at it thinking, where's the extra fudge? It does. It looks exactly like what you just would normally get. And I'm paying an extra quarter. So what I tell them to do, I say,
the audacity.
The audacity. I always tell them I want extra fudge.
Extra quarter.
Check this. No. This is what you do, Nathan. And everybody else, this is what you do. Say, I want extra fudge at the bottom and top. That way you see them squirt a whole bunch of fudge at the bottom, then the ice cream, then the top. Then you got your money's worth.
So
that's
if
how
you find
do
a
it,
quarter
people.
on the ground somewhere, do you go, oh, fudge?
Extra.
And just go down and look at McDonald's.
Literally. But those, I'm not kidding. That's how you do it. Because if you say extra on the top, you can't tell. It looks exactly like a normal one. It's like, I paid a quarter for what? A drop?
I'm gonna honestly, they follow through with that instruction. I figure they would just half-ass it.
They don't though, because when I got it today, oh man, a ton at the bottom.
Imagine Joe pops in, they're like, all right, he's wearing a mask, he's got a gun, he's pointing at us. The plexiglass that's in front of us, that might not hold. He means business.
That's how you do it though. I'm giving people tips. That's how you get your extra fudge. Say bottom and top and watch what they give you. Get a lot. So, oh Jesus, I'm wiped out. But guys, it's been a blast. They were talking a whole lot in the chat room. That's what was going on, Tyler. Not just as many questions. They were just on, talking about things we said and expand on. So they've been having a blast in there.
Okay.
But it has been great.
Yeah. You guys have
they've been going
because I can't see it. So.
Well,
they've been going.
Plenty other questions.
Well, I might have missed them. Which one did you see?
It sounds like you were when you talked about trying to save a quarter.
Would Tyler join the Great Rebellion if it got him a chance with the ladies?
Oh God, yes. I mean, for Foster, Castaspella, Natasa, Glimmer, twice.
And also, what is your idea of a hero sandwich?
He's trying to think of the perfect two females.
No. I'm thinking Tyler now is very picky. Like with his burgers, it's just basically
bacon and cheese.
Bacon and cheese. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's very
Wow.
simplistic.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, well, frost on one side, glimmer on the other. That's a hero.
I just
sandwich,
took that-
you know, because
That's what I thought he meant. I took it literally because I was going to say Evelyn and
hey,
Chakotay.
you perverts! I'm actually thinking about burgers and sandwiches.
Oh,
over
yeah, my
here.
burger
You're
is
thinking
bacon
about,
and
you know,
cheese.
who do I have a chance with? Who can I squeeze in between?
well,
And
yeah, glimmer and frost at the same time. That makes a hero sandwich for me.
how do
and
we
then
make
bacon and cheese?
how do we make Chinese finger cuffs?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, Evelyn and Chakotay for me. But guys, Jesus, it was great having you this week. A lot of interaction. Hope you enjoyed it. And for people that are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share so you can always be notified when we go live. So that's why you definitely got to ring that bell. It's been a blast. So until next time, have a powerful day.
I see me. I see me too.
I see me. I see. What? I see me. I see. Oh God, I don't know. I'm gonna wait for the chat room. We'll see if somebody can get that. I'm sure somebody.
it is. We got dogs barking. I don't know why.
They know too. They know the answer.
Everybody knows the answer. It's It Takes Two with the Olsen twins and Steve Gutenberg.
Oh God, was it really?
Right there.
Oh no! What? Jesus God!
Yeah.
It finally worked. It finally worked. He got to say it and got to show it. Jesus God. See you next time.